#1 player on the tour on your left. A nearly 40-point lead on the field. That's more than one first-place finish. It's going to take one of his competitors to make a run for it if Jeff is going to be caught.
When did they stop putting an exclamation point in the deck name Elves?
I liked that.
I thought historically we were excited about this deck.
Jeff will start on Stomping Ground. For Colligan, it is Overgrown Tomb, and it looks like Llanowar Elves.
7th edition Llanowar Elves.
Voice of Resurgence from Hoogland. A great card for grindy matchups. Elves doesn't really care about this one.
Nope.
When they deal damage, it's going to be in large quantities. So Llanowar Elf, Arbor Elf, no second land for Colligan as we go back to Hoogland.
No, we were talking about Orzhov Pontiff.
Pontiff just has it? Oh
Woof.
my goodness.
And Colligan missed his second land drop.
So there's a couple things. He has the one of in his hand. He actually only has one black source in the deck too. That's also in his hand. Okay, he can fetch for it, so that's...
Yeah. He does have 4 Eldritch Evolution and a Voice of Resurgence he didn't care about, so he was actually
going to hit the Pontiff. Very likely
his odds
to
were
Pontiff
pretty
there.
good. Like, this exact configuration might be a little tilting.
That one's the tilting one because it's more probably like, I just didn't even have to play none of my search cards. I mean, if you're playing Elves and you keep that in game 1, your opponent just like off regular man, just like, yeah, Pontiff you. You're like, oh, that stinks.
Glad
that's
I
all
woke
my
up
stuff.
this morning.
Here is Eldritch Evolution from Hoogland. So Kiki Evolution, we're going to see it in action. Voice of Resurgence, sacrificed. Getting Pia and Kieran Nalar. He'll get the Elemental token too. Now tell me this. I thought, was swinging the Voice a free roll here? Could have he just gotten 2 damage?
Yeah, you could still be able to sacrifice the Pontiff to the Evolution.
Yeah, well, he didn't want the trade. But the question is that in any reasonable world does Aidan make the trade?
Who knows?
Right?
When they're stuck on one land, they're going to make their least rational plays, right?
I think Jeff makes the play because he's just thinking, I'm so far ahead, I really don't want this trade to happen, whatever, I'll give up 2 damage. And then I go back and I get greedier. So this is like why I don't get to be the #1 player here.
Sure.
Is that I get greedy, I'm like, nah, but he's not going to make the block. I want everything.
And I really like Pia and Kieran specifically with the texture of how this game played out. That card's going to be too little too late in a lot of these games. But here, it's just going to stop Aidan from getting on the board at all.
A huge swing here from an Elemental token and some Thopters knocks Aidan down to 8. Jeff has 3 mana up and a Pia and Kieran. This game was over at Orzhov Pontiff.
Yep. Elves is a deck that is very explosive when things go its way and it curves out, but when you're behind this far, there's really not much the deck is capable of doing. You're not going to see a Drown in Sorrow from Aidan here, is what I'm getting at.
Yeah, and he immediately Jeff shoots away the Heritage Druid. The only way he could see himself losing is some sort of explosive start, so might as well take care of the mana and take care of the rest of the game. 1-0, Hoogland is up.
And I do think that this is a fairly bad matchup for Jeff in game 1. He's leaning pretty heavily on that Pontiff, depending on how Aidan's hand starts. Pontiff is a beatable card, though getting 3 for 1 is certainly not ideal. Something like starting with Nettle Sentinels or getting an early Archdruid can stop that from really mattering at all. Post-sideboard, though, Hoogland has a couple other tricks.
All right, we'll take a look at those in just a second. So Star City Games, you notice the pins we have going on. That's the Star City Games creature collection. So you see that on our pins. You can get it on just about everything if you like these kind of arts, and I know I do. Young Burrowmancer, he's been the one of the month. You can get him on your playmat, on your sleeves, as part of your player bundle. This is Young Pyromancer, but he's a burrow, in case you didn't catch that part of it too.
Oh.
Yeah, so you can get all of these for one price. These are all illustrated by Star City's own Andrea Radek. She does all the creature collections and does great work. So that one's available now. That one you may know from game night. We also like to have some that are not actually on our pins, just as other art. And we have the Fruit Bat as well. And this is just kind of an adorable creature. See, you think Fruit Bat means he's in a piece of fruit, right? He's eating the watermelon because that's what fruit bats do.
How horrified would you be if you were to cut into a watermelon to find a bat?
If that guy wasn't it, you just like pet him on the head because he's so cute. Anyway, it's the perfect summertime food on your playmat and on just about everything else. You can browse these and buy them, starcitygames.com/creature collection.
I do like the Fruit Bat. When it's in a piece of art, I can agree to the cuteness.
He's just having a great time there. Just snacking. So
it's on cloud 9.
Aidan Colligan, we're going to look at his Elves sideboard first here. So a crushing game 1 from Orzhov Pontiff. He's got Fracturing Gust, Reclamation Sage. Those are 2 ofs, and then a bunch of different 1 ofs. He also is actually playing 2 Eldritch Evolutions of his own. But I think he's more the question deck, not the answer deck here.
Yeah, certainly. He's just trying to play his game, be proactive. I like getting the Elvish champion in here. You know that Jeff can beat you up with Orzhov Pontiff. So the faster you can get a Lord on the table, the better.
Yeah, that Forest Walk too, right?
Sure do.
Okay, Jeff's going to play some of those.
Yes.
All right, Jeff's side of the sideboard. For Jeff Hoogland, we have the #1 player here on the SCG Tour. The 25-year-old from Bloomington, Illinois. We're seeing him at just about every tournament this season. That's because he is top 8ing just at a breakneck speed. He has 15 open top 8s. Now, one thing you may not actually know about Jeff Hoogland, he hasn't actually held the trophy yet. I mean, he's going for a much bigger trophy this year, no doubt, but doesn't have that win just yet.
With 15 top 8s, he is certainly operating below trophy expectation.
All right. For Jeff, if you follow him on Twitter, he's a very prolific about streaming, about Magic decks. He likes Kiki Cord. He's also very prolific about Linux and programming. A really interesting guy. This has been his breakout season, no doubt.
Yeah, it's been a great season. Started with great modern results. Even playing some pretty innovative and cool decks and standards, getting some solid results there as well.
All right, we're going to look. So Jeff's sideboard here, Aidan is going to 6 cards at the moment. He has a lot of tools here, and that steal of game 1 is going to really help him out. The first thing I'm looking at is the first card on the list, 3 copies of Engineered Explosives. That card's fantastic against Elves.
Yeah, definitely. It's just going to be able to clean up a bunch of 1s. If Aidan's able to set up multiple Lords, you can clean them all up that way. This card is just going to be great.
We look at that. Fulminator Mage, Lightning Helix. You mentioned Eidolon Rhetoric being great. Forge Tender, Path to Exile, just so many tools.
I like bringing in these spot removal spells. Aidan only has a couple of Elves that actually break open the game on the table. They don't really interact with, say, Shaman of the pack, but the spot removal will keep his threshold of Elves low.
All right, start on Elvish Mystic for Aidan. For Jeff, it is a Birds of Paradise. Now, Aidan was on 6. He scried to the bottom. We'll see how fast he can get that Lord going. You got to remember, with his Birds of Paradise, Jeff turn 2 could Pontiff out Aidan.
Yeah. Off of natural Pontiff or evolution, sacrifice the bird, find Pontiff.
That would just be the life, right? Where your opponent goes, turn 1 Stomping Ground, turn 2 Orzhov Pontiff. He's like, I didn't see that coming.
Orzhov Pontiff is a card that I know that on more than one occasion I've just kind of forgot it existed.
Yeah.
Because how often does that come up? And it just blows people out when it does.
So here's Heritage Druid from Colligan. Here's another Heritage Druid. Okay, he's got 3 mana. Can he protect himself from Pontiff? No, Elvish Visionary. I wanted that to be Elvish Champion or Archdruid real bad. Now if Jeff has the Evolution, he's going to just smash Aidan a second time.
Oh, yeah.
Does Hoogland have it? 2 mana from Birds of Paradise is Wall of Omens. I'm going to take that as a no.
Yep, sigh of relief for Aidan here.
Eternal Witness was drawn from Hoogland. So Aidan gets untapped with a lot of mana. 6 green worth of creatures. Now he needs to convert them from mana into damage.
Looks like Aidan has a copy of Westvale Abbey in hand, which he can actually just, if he has 1 more elf, he can set up Ormandal already.
There's no way that works, is there?
This is also very good.
Here's the Archdruid. We were talking about him wanting to have that. And another Archdruid.
Okay, this is okay.
Oh yeah, and now we have 1 elf left over. He'll swing. I think Jeff will call. Okay, block. Aidan says go.
Good block.
Good one. He saw it. Your opponent was tapped out with no cards in hand. Yes, you should block it.
If Aidan had gut shots, that bird probably wouldn't still be hanging around.
And it looks like Jeff can actually just make short work of this. He's going to Path to Exile away 1 Archdruid. We know he's got an Eternal Witness and land in hand. So despite the fast mana double Lord draw from Colligan, I don't know that he'll get any damage across.
Yeah, though if Jeff expends the Path to Exile again and Aidan draws a 1 or 2 mana elf, we can still see Ormondal next turn, right?
Yeah, you got to be scared of Ormondaling against a deck that's packing so much Path to Exile, but you're right, we could.
Given that we know about Pontiff and Jeff is getting to the point where he can actually Court of Calling for it, I would be pretty trigger happy with Ormondal.
Well, he's going to, instead of going for that Witness play, just tap for a turn 3 Linvala, Keeper of Silence. That's going to turn off the activated abilities of all of Aidan's creatures.
It's not a bad one. And with Aidan, he was empty-handed, just drew the only card in his hand. He's in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, Linvala makes no exception for mana abilities. Most of these cards would still allow Aidan to make green, which he could make a lot of, but not here. Meaning making tokens with Westvale Abbey not easy here either.
Yep. Still 2 lands shy of making that work. And out of the Elves deck, there's nothing like a Dismember to deal with Linvala. Plan has to be to, I guess, Shaman of the pack from here.
Tap there, yeah, reminding you, said before, mana abilities do not work under Linvala. So Aidan just with the 4 mana in play, nothing more. Does he have something he can maybe Eldritch Evolution into? How can he get this Linvala off the board?
The evolution targets here seem to be proactive with the game plan that is being hosed by the Linvala. Mostly it's that Shaman in the pack, and Azuri Renegade Leader is one of his primary targets, but the Linvala just shuts that off.
It does not look like he has a kill spell in the 75.
Yep.
I don't know how he wins through Linvala then. It's going to be an attack with everything. A block. He'll take 4. Linvala takes care of Heritage Druid. Aidan will pass. I like what Aidan's doing here. I don't think it works.
Right.
But he knows that he has no outs to Linvala. So he's going to attack. You look at Jeff's hand. Pia and Kieran, Lightning Helix. I mean, yeah, here's Helix for the Archdruid. Undoes nearly all the damage. Scavenging Ooze from Jeff. This one's done.
And Linvala, not symmetrical. Jeff's Bird still works.
Right. Yeah, Jeff's Bird of Paradise works. His Scavenging Ooze will work.
His Pia and Kieran will work.
Nettle Sentinel from Colligan, a pass. Plenty of creatures in the graveyard for Ooze. Jeff's hand has Wall of Omens, another Lightning Helix. A Pia and Kieran, so many tools. Here's Wall of Omens to draw a card. He draws his land. He'll play it. Now gets to pick between Eternal Witness and Lightning Helix. Hard to pick wrong.
Yeah.
He'll swing with Ooze. I like this. There's 3 green mana up. If Aidan blocks, Jeff will trade the Ooze for the entire team.
Hangs back Linvala because in some crazy world he could take damage in combat and it's his best blocker.
Yeah, there's no cards in Colligan's hand. So, yeah, I think he's ahead by enough that this doesn't really matter. He can kind of pick what he wants to do now.
Yep.
The thing he's got to watch out for is Westvale Abbey. And you know that notice that Jeff knows that because what he did with that turn was he Eternal Witnessed for Path to Exile.
Yep. Aidan down to just 4 bodies on the battlefield.
Right, well, he can end step make 1 with the Abbey, then activate Abbey. Jeff could lose that, but not anymore. Path to Exile.
Yep.
And now Linvala will start attacking. Here's Pia and Kieran Nalar. You see Jeff holding up that white mana for Path. He wants it on the land, not on the creature.
Yep.
Really smart move. Now 5 power of flying. Aidan has to fetch Shock here. He has only 2 basic forests in his deck. That drop down to 9 means that Jeff has lethal next turn. Down to 8. You can swing with flyers and throw some Thopters.
Yep.
I get that Aidan's making this play, but he saw Jeff put a Path to Exile in his hand.
Yeah, you can't just make Ormondal. He's just making the 1/1 now, and we'll see what he top decks. I imagine there'll be a concession shortly after the top deck, or maybe you bank on Jeff forgetting that Path to Exile in his hand.
You can, yeah. All right, 5
what else?
creatures.
You can concede or you can do something, right?
Thought this might be a tough matchup, but Jeff making short work of Aidan in 2 games.
Yeah, he has a couple cards that matter a lot, and they sure are powerful in this matchup.
All right, creature go from Aidan. Jeff will swing for 5. Lightning, Helix, and Thopter seals it up. 2-0. Hoogland goes to 5-0.
Wow, I would expect Elves to take at least a game in that matchup.
You know, I don't even know now. Like,
Jeff made it look easy.
Jeff's sideboard is great. Lightning Helixes are great. He's got enough ways to find Pontiff. I suppose if you look at Hoogland's list, he doesn't actually play as much removal as it seems like he plays.
Yeah, the 2 Eternal Witness and plenty of ways to find them, and also the fact that Pia and Kieran can just clean up some creatures as well.
Well, you look at that game, and Jeff played 2 Lightning Helixes and played Path to Exile 3 times? 2 times. So the 1 Path to Exile and the 2 Lightning Helixes are both out of the board, and they're the only removal in his 75. So the deck played very differently than it's actually constructed. And I mean, to be fair, that's exactly like Helix, Path, Linvala is a pretty good way to play against Elves.
Yeah, and we've seen Jeff take this sideboard approach time and again, where he just brings in these couple removal spells, and he does have to draw the first one naturally, but with the Eternal Witness and the very consistent ability to find Eternal Witness, he's quite capable of casting these removal spells multiple times and playing kind of an honest game that way.